Hello and welcome to this video on how to perform an ODBC query using EP Evaluator and Instrument Manager. This video assumes that you have been licensed for ODBC connectivity with an Instrument Manager and that setup is complete, and that you have a version of EP Evaluator that allows for ODBC connectivity, and again, the setup has been completed. If that is not the case and you still need to do the setup, there is a separate video that walks you through the steps to perform that setup. In order to do an ODBC query, you need to be within a module. In this case, I'm going to do simple precision. However, the same process takes place regardless of which statistical module you happen to be pulling data into. Once there, you can go into RRE and then ODBC data acquisition. At this point in time, your first prompt asks you, do you want to pull it by connection or do you want to pull it by test instrument? Depends upon which your scenario best fits. I'm going to use connection at this point in time, but the same process takes place regardless of which one you do. It's just your choices that you get later on may be just a little bit different. ODBC is the name of my connection. If you have multiple connections, you may have a number in a drop-down list, and you simply choose the one that works, that is set up for Instrument Manager. You then get to choose whether you want to choose live data or archive data. In this case, I'm going to do live data, though you can pull from archive data. It's very typical to pull from live data. Once I've gotten that far, I'd be able to hit the Run Query Wizard, and then I start getting a number of prompts. The first prompt is to set a start date and time and an end date and time. This can be as wide or as narrow as you want if you know specifically what the time frame is for the analytes in question. You can narrow this down and it really helps hone in on the data, or you can leave it as wide as you want. The other thing is there are some global filters here that allows you to look at only released results, only results that have no error flags, or only QC results. Depends upon what you're pulling in, where the data is, and how you've acquired it. These may be of value to you or not. They're not required. The date range is, but these global filters are not. Once you hit next, because I went by connection name, I got a list of connections, and you can simply choose from those list of connections which one you want to pull data from. In this case, I'm going to pull from Chemistry 01. You do have options to check all and uncheck all, as depends upon what fits your scenario. Once you hit next, what looks to be a blank screen, but what the prompt is for is what test codes do you want to pull in. And you have several options here. If you have defined panels, you can load them from panel or save to a panel, or the easiest way is to simply say load from test, and what it will do is it will give you all the different tests that are available through that particular analyzer that might have data in them. Again, you have a check all and an uncheck all if you want to have data in all those places. In this case, to keep it simple, I'm just going to go with ALT, though I could easily hit check all and it would have been able to pull the same data in from all these different tests. I'm going to hit next. This is a very, very flexible query that allows you to choose any way of narrowing down your search. You can do anything that starts with. In this case, all my results start with BR. So the results I'm looking for start with BR, so I'm going to say anything that starts with BR. I could add different starting prefixes if there's multiple prefixes that are possible. The other thing you can do is a range, so you can do a range of accessions if you have that particular information, and again you can see you can do multiple ranges. From a list, you can actually specify specific IDs that you'd like to pull from, so if you are pulling like in an instrument comparison module and you want to be able to pull from two different instruments and the same accession number so that you can compare the results, you could simply enter the accession number here or specimen ID and it will be able to pull those in. If you pull in all, you certainly can do that if there's no other filters and you've been able to limit it down using other things. So in this case, because everything I have starts with BR, I'm going to simply use that and hit the next button, and then this is just a confirmatory screen saying, okay, I've got everything I need, I'm ready to run the query, and I'm going to hit the finish button. What that will do then is it goes over to the Instrument Chemistry 01, or the connection, and pulls in everything that starts with a BR. Notice I have BR1 and I have BR2, so I have two different samples here, different dates and times when they were pulled in, and the ALT and the various results. I can choose now to either highlight specific results to send to it, or in this case, I'm going to send everything to the module. This button will change slightly from one module to the next. In this case, because I'm doing Simple Precision, it's going to say send this data to Simple Precision. If it were Complex Precision, it would say CP. So it'll change slightly, but what it does is it allows you to then send this data over to the actual protocol. It will then ask you to look at an instrument class and define that if you've already defined them. In this case, there's just one defined. You can choose different ones. It gives you a chance. It noticed that there were two different sample IDs, so it gives you an opportunity to pick one or the other. I'm going to go ahead and pick both. So you can see that it will actually do both at one time. Gives you an opportunity to load the reagent control and calibrator information if you need to have that for your records. You can enter that here, or again it can be entered at a later point under parameters. By hitting next, it will go to a place to give you the analyzer identification, in case those are my initials, and the date the experiment is. These kind of just default in based on who's logged in, but they can easily be edited if need be. Once I go to next, I get one last opportunity to make a comment that will be added to these. If I choose to do that, I can, or you can leave it blank as I have. And then this activity dialog will come up, and it will show that, results for 64 results were brought in for BR1, 66 were brought in for BR2, and notice 2 experiments were automatically created here, one for each of the analytes. So again, had I chosen all the analytes that had data in them, and they all had something that started with BR, I could do a mass amount of experiments at one time. You'll notice that it says not calculated. That's what that symbol stands for, and that happens because we haven't gone into those particular individual pieces. So then you can go into the piece individual experiments, and this is again under parameters, where you can go in and put the specific lot numbers. You can change the information as far as your precision goals or what have you in this case. So it's very simple to go in then and just pull all that data in, and it's already entered for you, and then you can go about your experiments and doing the validation of your experiments as you normally would do. So that is the information regarding ODBC query. I hope you found this video useful.